What's up guys, Shebe here. Welcome to my channel. If you couldn't tell already by the title of my video, today we're going to be going over a thematic recasting of Pride and Prejudice. The reason it is thematic and not classic is because there are already probably 5 to 6 different adaptations to film that are more classic, minus Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which disgusting. Disgusting! But we'll forget about that for now. The two main recastings that most people have seen that are interested in the kind of period piece or have read Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice are the 1995 Colin Firth miniseries by BBC and the film adaptation from 2005 with Keira Knightley. I have to say my personal favorite out of the two are definitely the BBC miniseries. I personally have not read the book, so I would recommend that you go and watch that if you haven't. It's a little bit of a time commitment, but in my personal opinion, it has a fantastic cast. I love it and I would never change it. That is why this is a thematic video. If, say, Tim Burton were to take over Pride and Prejudice as a project and make it his fun, weird, whimsical, dark, and eerie version. Tim Burton, if you're watching, I doubt you are, but take it on as a project. There is a special place in my heart for Tim Burton's adaptations that he has done before, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Alice in Wonderland, and Batman. And he has made so many other great films that will always sit in my heart with great fondness. If you're familiar with Tim Burton's work, you're probably going to recognize some of these actors, as he is known for repeat casting for a lot of his movies. For those of you who saw my Twilight recasting video, it's going to be a similar process where I will be listing an actor and they might be a little too old for the role to be casted now, but I will be listing what era they would have been perfect for this role, since this is my world and you're just living in it, so get over it. Also, a quick shout out to my friend Heather, who helped with this recasting and has also read the Pride and Prejudice books and watched more of the movie adaptations than I have. So thank you for your help with this, and let's get right into it. So first off, we have Winona Ryder, and I'm thinking Winona Ryder from Edward Scissorhands era. I think she is just a great actress. Next, we have Adam Driver as Mr. Darcy. I just think this wide-shouldered man could be a really interesting dark version of Mr. Darcy. And I'm thinking like current Adam Driver. So yeah. Next we have Jennifer Garner as Jane Bennet. I think probably from 13 going on 30, that would be great. I think she's just a super sweet, kind of light-hearted actress, and I would like to see her in that role. Next, we have Eddie Redmayne, and I would also use him from current version, so that would be great, I think. Next, this is where I got torn. So me and my friend were kind of trying to figure this out for a while, who would play Lydia Bennet, because I think she's a very important character other than Elizabeth Bennet, who's also a very important character, and we also had a very hard time recasting her. But I think that either Michelle Trachtenberg or Sarah Hyland would be a great Lydia Bennet. I think I'm more drawn to Sarah Hyland, but I wanted to mention Michelle. However, I think Sarah Hyland could be a lot more interesting as an actress for Lydia Bennet than Michelle Trachtenberg. Michelle Trachtenberg you would probably recognize from Gossip Girl. XO Gossip Girl. That's the era I'm thinking for her, and then for Sarah Hyland as Lydia probably would be between mid to late Modern Family era. Hey guys, so during the editing of this video, I decided to make a change instead of having Johnny Depp as Mr. Wickham, I now have Michael Keaton as Mr. Wickham, and I'm thinking Michael Keaton from Batman era. As far as taking Johnny Depp out, I have a video right here that I saw and just kind of informed me on some things I wasn't super aware of. So I won't be using Johnny Depp in any of my future videos, also because I think it might just be a little bit problematic after seeing this. Next, we have Helena Bonham Carter and Ian McKellen as Mr. and Mrs. Bennet. Now, Helena Bonham Carter is another one of our repeat casts.
Greetings, loved ones. Let's take a journey.
And I think she's just an absolutely phenomenal actress. I think she would really, really kill this role, be super funny and sassy, and really any era after, like, say, Harry Potter, but probably somewhere between, like, Harry Potter and Les Mis. And then Ian McKellen, I would put him during the, say, early Lord of the Rings era. And then for Charlotte Lucas, Claire Foy. Many of you would probably know Claire Foy from The Crown, but I'm actually thinking of her from an earlier era, Little Dorrit. I actually saw that show. It's another period piece, worth watching, so go ahead and check it out. But I think she absolutely slayed in that role, The Crown. Yes, slay queen, literally. So then we have Andy Serkis as Mr. Collins. You would probably be most familiar with him as his role as Gollum in Lord of the Rings.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Super,
weird.
But I think it would be super interesting because Mr. Collins is supposed to be kind of a creepy character where you're just kind of like, ooh, makes your skin crawl a little bit. And if he did the Gollum voice, it would be even better. I'm not even gonna try. I put Geena Davis and Alan Rickman as Mr. and Mrs. Gardner. They are also repeat characters as far as Tim Burton goes. Very common casting. Obviously, Alan Rickman, may he rest in peace. This is just an honorable mention. He would never be able to actually be in this film. Sad day. And Alan Rickman from really any Harry Potter era would be great. Geena Davis, I'm thinking from like Stuart Little era. Next, as Caroline Bingley, the sassy wench, we have Sarah Jessica Parker. And I think she would be really hilarious if she actually wore her Hocus Pocus outfit. So I'm thinking Hocus Pocus era for that as well. Also, Catherine O'Hara as Lady Catherine de Bourgh. I mean, it's really in the name. How could she not play that character? Schitt's Creek era, Catherine O'Hara would be
Ooh, that rhymed.
That would be absolutely perfect, I think. She's an absolute icon. She's wonderful, and if we could get her to pull out a couple of her Schitt's Creek wigs for this role, I think that would be fantabulous. That's not a word. Don't worry about it. Also, some of you may have noticed the little Clash of the Clans notification at the top of my picture of my recasting. Yes, I am 25 years old, and yes, I do still play Clash of Clans, so...
Silly.
Next, we have Christina Ricci as Georgiana Darcy. Now, I don't have any strong opinions about this. I really liked Christina Ricci in her Wednesday Addams role. I think that is a little too young for her to be cast as Georgiana, but if she was a little bit older than that role, that would be good. Next, as Colonel Fitzwilliam, we have Jonathan Rhys, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I would like to put Jonathan in that role, preferably from his Bend It Like Beckham era. I absolutely loved that movie. Such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Next, for Kitty Bennett, we have Chloe Grace Moretz. I think she's kind of like a fun, sassy, laid-back character, so that's why I think she would be great for that. maybe a little bit older than her Diary of a Wimpy Kid role, but I haven't seen her in another more recent role than that. And also going with the Diary of a Wimpy Kid theme, I think Lane McNeil would be really funny as Mary Bennett because she's supposed to be this absolutely obnoxious character. So maybe like the second Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie for that era for Lane McNeil to play Mary Bennett. Next we have Elle Fanning as Mariah Lucas. I'm thinking Maleficent era. She's just so cute. I mean, really, both the Fannings are just absolutely phenomenal actresses, but I think Elle Fanning would be a really cute little Mariah Lucas. Next, Danny DeVito as Sir William Lucas. I don't know why I put Danny DeVito in there. I think just because I find him obnoxious and I think it would be funny. So, also he's a repeat Tim Burton cast, so I think that would be interesting. But yeah, really Danny DeVito from any era after Matilda would be good for that role. Then, these are two of my personal favorite casting choices as the Hearsts. I think they would be great in a Tim Burton film, and I think they would be great as Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman. I absolutely love them. They are such a dynamic duo. Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman are both absolutely hilarious actors. They were great in their roles from Parks and Rec, so I'm thinking that would be a good era for them to play those characters. That is it for this recasting of Tim Burton's Pride and Prejudice. Let me know what you think as always, and if you have another movie you'd like to see recasted, leave it in the comments. If you enjoyed my recasting for this video, give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Next, I think I will be doing a Hunger Games recasting, which is going to be a little bit shorter because I did actually appreciate a lot of it, but we're not going to get into that right now, but that will be coming soon. So yeah, love you guys. Peace out.